Can't get my camera to work. Oh well. Hey guys, welcome back to Train Trade Talk Travel. I'm your host, Dwayne Bigley, and today we're delving into the markets and having a look at what's been going on. I finally got my new microphone set up, and it's been a while since I've done a video, so I thought I'd drop in today and just give you guys my thoughts on what's been happening. So let's start off with crypto. This week we saw a big sell-off and a drop below the 30k support for the cryptos, and it's still down for the week, but we've had some nice rallies and some nice bounce backs in some of the cryptos, which we've seen double-digit percentages on a lot of the coins, which has been some easy money over the last couple of days, which I am very happy about. Because I closed my shorts perfectly, I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to close my shorts, I'm going to go to bed, and tomorrow I'll wake up and see what the market's like. And I woke up, and the Bitcoin chart was looking a lot more bullish and a lot more healthy. So I went long, which I'll get into shortly. But first, I just wanted to talk to everyone who's feeling really, really bearish on crypto at the moment. There's a lot of bearish sentiment in the market right now, as you can see with the Fear Greed Index. The other day, this was all the way down at 10. People are getting very scared. And to me, this is opportunity, because as a trader or as an investor, you want to be buying when everyone's scared. When everyone's scared and everyone's fearful, an asset is going to be going down to its lower end of its prices. So that's the best time to buy. And counter to that, when everything is in the green and everything's booming, everything's going up, and everyone thinks it's just going to keep going up forever, everyone's yelling out $150,000 Bitcoin, that's when you want to sell. That's when you want to get out, take your profit, and move back into some sort of more stable asset. But there is a lot of bullish news coming out for cryptos and Bitcoin right now. I was reading a couple of articles that I just wanted to share with you. We've got a couple of companies out of New York. These are payments or remittance companies that deal with payment solutions for big banks. So you've got Fiserv and NYDIG that are teaming up to help the financial institutions to give their customers access to Bitcoin. And these companies are multi-billion-dollar companies dealing with multi-billion-dollar banks. So this is huge news. If you can jump on and have a look at that article, very good article. Also, we've got Citibank, which is one of the biggest banks in the world. They've created a digital assets group, and they're offering digital assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum to their customers moving forward. So that's another huge bullish article. And another thing that I saw was there's a cryptocurrency called Solana, which is sort of like an alternative to Ethereum or Cardano. They are now actually offering tokenized versions of stocks like Facebook, Google, Apple, and Tesla on the FTX exchange. And this is something that I've been saying for a while. The reason why crypto is such a huge opportunity right now is because it's in such an early stage of its development. But not only that, a lot of people do not understand the relationship between the cryptocurrency market and the stock market. I do not see these two markets as being separate. These two markets are slowly merging together. What we will see is a slow merger between the stock market and the cryptocurrency market. In the future, I believe when you buy stocks, you'll be buying stocks on the blockchain. So when you buy Google, Apple, or Tesla stocks, it will actually be buying a bit of blockchain, tokenized stock. And we will have a conversion of the stock market onto the blockchain. And what you will end up with is a 24-hour traded stock market. And this is going to be fucking huge. There is so much opportunity when this happens. It's going to be a slow integration. It might take years. But when this happens, everything is going to change. Cryptocurrency is no longer going to be seen as this bastardized, retarded side market that only cypherpunks and geeks trade. It's going to become mainstream. It's going to become a big deal. And Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be a big part of that. That's why I'm a big believer in Bitcoin and Ethereum, because these technologies are going mainstream long term. So you want to be invested. So I am a hodler. I am an investor in Bitcoin and Ethereum specifically. And I'm also a trader. So people get confused when they hear me talking about trading Bitcoin. Like I sold here and I bought here and I'm shorting here. Those are my short-term trades. That's how you hedge your long-term positions. But having said all that, there are a lot of bearish sentiment in the market at the moment. Like there are a lot of scams, a lot of rug pulls going on. There was an article that I was reading the other day that I shared with my Facebook group about Mark Cuban getting scammed out of a DeFi coin. He lost a bit of money. And there are a lot of people falling for these really, really crap fucking scam coins. That's why I advise people who ask me for advice on cryptocurrency, stick to the big projects. Stick to projects in the top 20, top 30 that have got high liquidity, that are proven, tested, that you definitely know are not scams. But people don't listen. They go after all these little crappy little coins and they're like, I gotta get in on the ground floor and ride it up to the moon. No, just stop chasing scams because you're gonna get scammed. And we also had a tweet by Michael Burry. This is the guy from the Big Short movie. He famously called the 2007-2008 real estate crash in America, and he made a fortune shorting it. And he's become bearish on Bitcoin, and he's got a short position on Bitcoin, and he's been pumping out the tweets about how Bitcoin is in a it's in a bull trap and it's going to go much lower. So my opinion on this is that fucking good. I hope Bitcoin goes lower, because if it goes lower, I can buy more cheaper. Because I know Bitcoin eventually long term is going to go a lot higher. I see Bitcoin definitely going over 100K within the next couple of years. The longer this bear market does go on, the longer this bearish trend does go on, the further out that gets pushed. But it's inevitable. The cryptocurrency market is going a lot higher. So that brings us to the chart. And I've had a lot of people asking me recently on my thoughts on Bitcoin and where I see it going. I did say that we really needed to hold the 30K level. So if I draw this up on my chart, we've got this support level down here between 28K and 30K. So we have actually held that level. And then we've also got another big resistance level up here between 42 and 41K, all right? Close that there. And we've rejected off that 1, 2, 3 times. And we've bounced off the bottom here 1, 2, 3 times. So we're bouncing around between this range at the moment. So we won't get a clear indication of which way this market's headed in the long term, until we get a break of either 42K or 28K. But you can still trade and make a lot of money in this range. For example, when I saw this rejection here from 41K, when we bounced back down, and you zoom in on the lower time frames, on the hourly chart, get rid of that. We had a clear breakdown here of trend. So for me, I was looking at this. It's a rising channel. And when we broke down here, we lost the higher highs and the higher lows on the hourly chart. That was a signal to me that we may be getting a bit of a sell-off. So I entered a few short positions here. I put my stop loss up here at 39. It's a pretty low risk trade. And I shorted it down. I held it for a couple of days and I shorted it all the way down to, I think it was like 30, just above 30, because I thought we might get a bit of a bounce in support. So I wanted to take max profit. And that ended up being like a really good trade, like a good 15% trade. I actually traded some of the altcoins. I traded Uniswap. I had a big short position on Uniswap. I also traded a couple of the other altcoins, Litecoin, and another altcoin is Ethereum. And then I went to bed, closed my short positions the other night, and I woke up and Bitcoin had actually had a good sell off during the night, but had a really good bounce back. If you look at this on the daily chart, it actually looks quite like a lot of buying came in here. So that actually looks quite bullish. So there's 3 green candles here. And TA, they call it the 3 soldiers, which is a bullish reversal pattern. But another thing I want to make everyone aware of when trying to trade this range is right in the middle here, between 34 and 35,500, there is a bit of resistance level. So if we can get past 35,500 and break up above this level, probably going to go back up and retest the 40k range. But trading in here, in between 42 and 28, you have to have a short-term mindset because there is a lot of fake outs at the moment. We keep faking out in both directions. Like it looks like we're about to break out and go higher, boom, the sellers come in. Looks like we're about to break down and go lower, boom, the buyers come in. So the reason I've drawn these 2 boxes here is because this is a representation of resistance up here. So resistance, all that means is that there are a ton of sellers waiting up here, waiting to get out of the market. They're sitting here. If the price comes to this level, they've got their orders in, they're going to be selling and they're taking their money out of the market. So that's why it's a resistance level. The same down here with the buyers and the bulls. This is a support level. So as soon as Bitcoin lost 30k, there was no one left but buyers. This is what a lot of people get wrong in trading. They think, oh, okay, we've lost the lower low. That means we're going lower. We did go a little bit lower, but we only dropped to 28k because everyone would have sold. Like I closed my short positions at 30k. So a lot of people would have been closing their short positions to take profit. And a lot of the longs would have sold and got out. But at some point, there's no one left to sell. There's no one left to sell because we dropped all the way from 42k, 41k, all the way down to 28, right? This is all selling in here. Selling. At some point, you run out of sellers. There's nobody left to sell. So the only people left in the market at that point are buyers. So that's why you always have to think counter to the trend. If it's selling off, if there's a massive sell-off, you have to start thinking about buying because it's counter to the trend. Because there are 2 market participants. You've got buyers and you've got sellers. Once all the sellers are sold, once there's no more sellers left in the market, there's only one thing that can happen. Buying, because only the buyers are left. Same when we go to the upside, when we have a big bounce to the upside. Once all the buyers have bought, this is what happens whenever something tops. When everything is at its most bullish, when everyone keeps saying, Bitcoin to the moon, we're going to go to 150k, it's going up forever, let's buy some Lamborghinis. At the point when everybody has bought, who is left to buy? There is nobody left to buy. So the only people left in the market at that point are the sellers, the people who want to take profit, the people who want to take money out of the market at the top at 64k, and they actually want to go buy Lamborghinis. Those people are the only people left in the market. It's the same when it comes down here. So you always, as a contrarian trader, as a contrarian investor, you always have to be thinking counter trend. Do the opposite of the herd because the herd is dumbed down and they generally always get it wrong because they trade on emotions. They don't trade on the chart. So I trade on the chart. I'm a trader. I don't trade on emotion. I look at the chart. Here's the price. I want to trade the chart that's directly in front of me. Having said that, I don't make predictions. Like I might be bullish long-term on Bitcoin, which I am, but short-term I might be bearish because the chart in front of me looks bearish. And this chart for Bitcoin right now, to give you an overall picture of what I'm looking at, it's still in a daily downtrend. On the daily chart, we've got lower highs and lower lows. Lower high, lower low. Technically, we're still in a downtrend. And in trading, there's a saying, the trend is your friend until the end. So when looking at this downtrend, you can draw a line from recent highs down here. So what is going to happen when Bitcoin touches this line? It's going to be an indication whether it's going to bounce back down and go lower or go higher. So draw a trend line, map it out, We're either going to get a breakout of this triangle right here to the upside, or we're going to reject and we're going to go back down lower and retest this 28k range, which if we do again, we may pop a little bit lower, which is a perfect buying opportunity. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about the broader markets. There is a massive debate in the trading and investment community at the moment about the US dollar and what is going on with inflation versus deflation, because we all know that the American government is printing trillions and trillions of dollars out of thin air to stimulate the economy to try and get them through this pandemic. And a lot of people are looking and staring at the DXY, which is a chart that shows the dollar, the US dollar, weighted up against the other international currencies to see how strong or weak it is. And it's been stuck in this range between 96 cents and 89 cents since September last year. I broke down here, November last year. So pretty much 6 months we've been stuck in this range with the dollar. So for me, the whole argument about deflation, inflation is sort of irrelevant. The Federal Reserve have got tools to tighten the money supply and expand the money supply digitally. So it's different to the way it used to be in the old days when we had the gold-backed dollar. We don't have the gold-backed dollar anymore. So the digitalization of the dollar makes it far, far easier, in my opinion, for the central banks to expand the money supply and retract the money supply at a moment's notice. So I believe that we're just going to see sideways chop for a while, because the powers to be want to see the US dollar remain strong. They don't want the US dollar to drop, because if the US dollar drops, we'll see mass inflation. And they want to have confidence in the US dollar. They want the general populace to remain confident in the US dollar. So I believe they're just going to keep it in the sideways range here for a while. But it's still a good indication to watch. Like, we've had all these falling wedges in the dollar, which is actually a sign that the dollar could go higher. So everyone keeps yelling out, inflation, inflation, inflation. The US dollar is going to go lower. But what I'm looking at is the US dollar actually potentially bouncing higher, because what I've drawn on my chart, we've got falling wedge, falling wedge. Look at this falling wedge over here. It broke out higher and it went higher. This falling wedge here, the same. We broke out higher. We had another dip down here. Now we've got a double bottom on the dollar, holding 89 cents. Triple bottom if you count this bottom over here from back in 2018. But we've rejected from this resistance level here at 92. So if we can break above at 93 cents, we will technically be in an uptrend for the US dollar. So if we get in an uptrend situation for the US dollar, this will be bad for risk on assets, because that's a sign that a lot of investors are fleeing back into the dollar because they see the possible signs of deflation in the market. Because even with all the money printing, like I explained, because of the digitalization of the central banks now, deflation is still a possibility, because they can wipe billions off the market within the click of a switch. And they will do that to keep the dollar strong. So just something to keep in mind. Having said that, I have been trading the NASDAQ. I've been trading stocks in the United States. I've been keeping my nightlife in the stock market. And it's been profitable for me recently, because the stocks just keep going higher and higher and higher. I drew this rising wedge on my chart, which we broke higher from. This gives us a measured move from the top of the pattern to the bottom of the pattern. And when you draw it on the chart and you put it up from the breakout point, it gives us a move to 15,900 points. So I still see a lot of upside. Looking at the chart, there's a shitload of money still coming into this market. There's a lot of money. Because of all the money printing that's been going on, all the trillions of dollars that's been going on, a lot of the rich people are getting richer because a lot of that money ends up in the hands of the wealthy. The way you avoid inflation in a mass economy like the United States is you make sure the money does not go to the poor people. If the money goes to the poor people, you have mass inflation. The price of goods goes up. So to avoid that happening, what the United States do, because they're a capitalist economy, they give the money to the rich people. Because the rich people are not going to spend the money on small consumer goods and inflate the price of everything. What they're going to do is spend money on their businesses. If they spend money on their businesses, they're going to employ and hire more people. That's the thinking of the capitalist mind. They want to employ and hire more people to keep the generation of funds going through the economy that way. So the price of stocks will keep going up as long as this mindset keeps happening. So I just want to talk about some of the trades that I had. So yeah, we had the Nasdaq. I've been trading a few different coins in the Nasdaq. So where is it? I know. No. Okay, so this is one of the trades that I had. NIO, this is a electrical vehicle company. And this is like a huge profit maker for me. When I jumped on this stock, it was down here at $14. I only took a small position. I fucking wish I took a bigger one. But it just had a huge run up all the way up here to $67. So it done a 4x for me. But now we're having a massive pullback. And this, to me, this chart looks very, very similar to the Bitcoin chart. Look at this. So you had your high, and then you had your massive dump. Then you had a pump, and then a sideways chop and consolidation. And now we've had a lower, then they had a lower low in the price, and then boom, shot up to a higher high. So we're having sideways consolidation in a lot of these stock prices. I sold a lot of my position actually up here when we started pulling back because I thought this was the top here. So, but I've been looking for a re-entry on this, and I re-entered down here, back here at 32. So I bought lower than I sold, which is good. What else have I been trading in the market? I've been on the biotech sector. This is a very similar chart. One of my trading styles that I love to trade is I love to trade breakout from wedges. So you had this wedge up here, grinding up, and then we had a lower high. We came back to retest the wedge. We broke out. I bought here on the breakout. It came back and it fell back into the wedge slightly. So I added to my position because it held the wedge, and from there, boom, it shot up, and we done a nice 80% gain on this stock from November to now. So I've just been holding it actually. I didn't take any profit up here. I wish I did, but I've been holding it. It's come back to retest this range. So there's very good support here. You can see the support level. Boom, we've retested here. I probably should have re-added to my position here because I see this thing going a lot higher. It's a very good ETF to trade. What else have I been trading? The ARK stock, ARKK. ARKK. And so this is the Cathie Woods ETF. Very similar chart pattern. If you look at all these chart patterns in the stock market, they all look very similar, and they all look very similar to Bitcoin as well. Like, look, if you zoom out, look at this chart pattern. You got the high, the pullback, and the consolidated range. Same thing in the stock market. But look at this after what happens after this consolidated range. You get a dump, and then you get sideways chop, which we're having right now in Bitcoin, and then you get another big leg lower, and then you get a boom, a spike to the upside. And look at Bitcoin. This is exactly what we're happening right here. Sideways chop, spike lower, and then boom, we're getting a start to the leg to the upside. Now, I'm not saying that this is the low, because we could have another slider lower low. But what I think could happen, if this is the low, which I've got long positions in now just in case it is, if we break this trend line, we could easily go a lot higher in Bitcoin, all the way back up here to 40K. But even if we break down again and we have a sell-off down here below this range, and we get down to 23K, or even if we drop down to 20K, amazing buying opportunity, because that would be the final low before the pump higher. Exactly what we're seeing in a lot of the stocks, like ARK. So I've been an investor in this ETF. I bought it in here in this consolidated range at 82. It's just been pumping up ever since then. What else have I been trading? 10. So this is a solar ETF for renewable energies. So I like to get exposure to growth stocks and companies that are growing. And a good way to do this is to find an ETF that represents a lot of the different companies in the one ETF price and trade that. That's sort of my strategy with the American stock market. So this is an ETF that represents solar, like a lot of the solar companies in the United States. So I jumped on this one up here at 75. I was when it was pulling back, had a bit of a sell-off here. That's when I was just accumulating because I was reading a lot of good stuff about this ETF and had a massive pump up here. And then we've pulled back to where I bought actually. So I have been adding to my position because support. We're on support. So I added to my position here. I've increased it because I see another leg higher in this ETF. But as you can see, the charts in the stock market and the cryptocurrency market are looking very similar. You've got your highs that have been put in through the year, and then you're having pullbacks, which are perfect buying opportunities. This is where you want to be buying. So I've got my long-term positions in Bitcoin, which I'm not selling. And I'm also day trading this stuff. I'm shorting it. I'm pulling out money on the inside scoop. So, yep, that's what I'm looking at here with the market. Appreciate you taking the time out to listen to my thoughts today. If you like this sort of content, please subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Adios. Have a good day.